Hey, I wanted to jump on and talk a little bit about what I mean when I refer to rewilding your business. This is a phrase I use a lot, and it's become more and more meaningful to me as my business has grown. And I guess the root of it, no pun intended, root, the root of it is around cutting away what doesn't belong in your business to allow what does belong to thrive. If you think about nature and what rewilding means in that context, that's exactly what we do. When we rewild a piece of land, we make sure that it has its indigenous plants, the stuff that's meant to be there, and companion plants, the stuff that goes perfectly with those native plants. It's all about returning to the soil, the nutrients that should be there. It's about cultivating the hedgerows, getting everything back to its state of harmony with nature. Right? So when I talk about rewilding your business, I want you to get back to a place of simplification, a place where every strategy, every system, element within your business is in harmony. It's aligned with your values, the way you like to do business, what feels good to you. I use this an awful lot when I start talking about marketing strategies. We know how noisy the digital marketing world is, right? With opt-ins and funnels and landing pages and webinars and quizzes. And, there are literally thousands of different strategies and on-trend ways that you can raise your visibility, gain leads, and make sales. But the truth is that the only marketing that will ever work for your business is the strategy that feels right to you. Because if it feels right, you'll keep doing it. Like I always say, most marketing strategies work. Most work. It's just that people don't give them long enough to work. People don't stick with it long enough because they pick a strategy that they've seen work for someone else, but not something that necessarily is going to work for them. And this is where this rewilding concept of intuitively coming back to your business, not the templated you've learned from someone else that worked for them when they started their business. This is really common. Take, for example, the whole world of course creation. Think about how when the likes of people like Marie Forleo and Amy Porterfield and James Wedmore, when they first did their round of being very innovative and disruptive and bringing to the masses this concept of online courses, the strategies that they came up with to sell those courses really worked. It made them all millionaires. It was the perfect strategies for them back then. The problem is that what's happening now is that people who are just starting businesses or people who are wanting to introduce some passive income into their business are jumping on to the strategies that these people with their hundreds of thousands strong email lists are teaching. And the truth is that they could literally put out anything and their email lists are big enough that someone will buy it. It isn't true. If you are just starting, if you are looking to introduce or pivot your business, the marketing strategies that work for someone with a multi-million-pound business model will not necessarily work for you. So how do you know what will work? How do you know? If you're not supposed to just copy what someone else is doing, how do you know what's going to work for you? Well, I have two answers to that. I have three things to say about it, actually. The first one is you don't know. And that's okay, because marketing is all about experimentation. The second thing I want to say is that selling what you do, whether you're a coach, a mentor, any other kind of service provider, selling what you do is all about three phases. It's about your visibility. How are you going to get people to notice you? Are you going to do videos like this? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm creating awareness around my brand and what I do as a business rewilder. Right? Are you going to do this? Are you going to create a podcast? Are you going to write articles for a magazine? Are you going to guest podcasts on other people's podcasts? Are you going to write a blog? What feels good to you? Because one of those things that I've just mentioned, I hope, will have you thinking, do you know what? I would really love to do that. But pick one thing, pick one platform that's going to be where you are visible, and it's where you're going to be putting out this original content. That's your visibility piece. The next phase is your lead generation. So how do you take people from knowing you exist to becoming potential clients? Well, for me as a business coach, I put out content like this that's teaching you something. It's telling you about my take on what works and what doesn't work and why. I have my podcast where I interview other amazing female entrepreneurs, and that's more original content that's just absolutely adding value. But all of those things don't mean much if I'm not inviting you at some point to raise your hand and say, Jill, do you know what? I really like the way you explain things. You make things quite simple. I think I would quite like to learn a little bit more from you. I think it's the right time for me to work with a coach. Yeah, I'm ready to raise my hand. So my job then, or your job, is to then make it easy for your clients to do that. So what I mean by that is the call to action. Simple as that. Where are you going to put calls to action and invite people to raise their hand? It might be on social media. It might be in the show notes of a YouTube video like this one. It might be in the footnote of your blog post. And what is that call to action? Well, again, what feels right? Do you know that there's something that you could offer your ideal clients that they would literally snatch your hand off and thrust their email address in your face because they want it so badly? So on my website, for example, I offer a Fix Your Money Mindset ebook. People can give me their email address if they would like a copy of that ebook. What that means then is that I have that email address and I can gently nurture those prospects over the coming weeks, months, years, because guess what? Just like in nature, things don't grow overnight. Your business won't grow overnight. You don't want it to. If it does, it's going to be artificial and or unsustainable. We want it to have the rhythm that nature has. We want it to have growth spurts and then periods where you just embed things the way they are. We want a good rhythm to growing your business. So once you have someone's email address, because you've offered them a way to take that next step, raise their hand, whether that's sending them a freebie, whether it's inviting them to a free masterclass or a webinar, or whether it's inviting them to book a free call with you where you're going to give them an experience of what it feels like to work with you. That's what I do. That is what works so well for me because I'm really generous with my time. I let people apply for a 60-minute session with me, a full 60 minutes of high-level business coaching. By the end of that 60 minutes, we both know one of two things. It's either an absolutely, I want to work with you, take my money, when can we get started? Or it's a, no, this isn't for me, or it's not for me yet. And either of those is fine because I'm patient, I understand, and I don't want everything to happen so fast. And that's really important. So lead generation. There's a lag between gaining the lead, having someone raise their hand, and there can often be a lag between them then saying, I'm in, I'm ready, I want to start working with you. Or I want to buy your program, or I want to sign up for your workshop, or whatever that is. Okay? But whatever it is, we've got to take away all the friction, all the complications. So if you've come into contact with this school of thought that means that you need these very complicated funnels with tripwires and upsells and downsells and cross-sells, and, you know, if you have a huge team, all power to you. If that's the kind of model that you would like to have as your marketing system, that might work for you. But for most coaches and consultants and mentors that I know who, like me, have higher ticket offers and want to sell those higher ticket offers, it isn't about that. It's about connection. It's about how do I slowly, intentionally, with purpose, nurture connections with the right people in the right way, being authentic, not pretending to be something we're not. That honesty is what will get people wanting to work with you. And I don't care what kind of coach you are. I don't care what kind of consultancy work you do. This is gold standard stuff. Stop focusing on the funnels and focus on the people, one by one. Stop listening to the people who say that you've got to stop doing one-to-one, it's not scalable. I will guarantee that those tend to be the people that are undercharging for what they do, because when you charge appropriately, if you deliver a high ticket service, then there's no rush. There's no rush to bring in this complicated business model of lower ticket offers. And if you wait until you are at capacity for one-to-one work, if that happens, I mean, there are ways that you can circulate what you do with clients so that that doesn't happen. But if that does, then you're already going to have the financial buffer to be able to grow your team to run a more complex marketing strategy. But we all try to run before we can walk, right? We all try to answer future problems before they arrive at our doorstep. And that's a really common one. One-to-one work doesn't scale, so I've got to immediately on day one have a group coaching program. It's a lot harder to market than it is to have conversations with the right people and make offers to those people. It's a much different animal selling a digital course. For example, if you haven't got a budget for Facebook ads in 2023, forget it. Or some kind of paid advertising anyway, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, whatever it is, you know. The days of, this is what I mean about the days of the gurus, showing people how to have these big 7-figure launches with digital courses. You know, you can waste an awful lot of time with that hype. I want you to come back to actually serving the people you want to serve in a much more intentional way. And that's part of rewilding your business too. It's about what am I really trying to do here? For me, it's about truly being who I am. I can't do it any other way. I've tried. I tried in the early days to be what I thought a successful entrepreneur looked and sounded like. It's not me. I don't want to be someone else. So I want to be authentically who I am, and I want to do what I love. And I get paid to have really deep conversations with fucking remarkable women. right? Can you actually believe that? What an amazing job being a coach is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Entrepreneurship isn't for the faint-hearted. If you're someone who must have very, very rigid predictability to your life, then entrepreneurship probably isn't for you. And the sooner maybe that you realize that, the better. But if you believe it is, then I want you to do it the right way. And that is in a way that feels good to you. It's doing things your own way. It's rewilding the entire landscape of how you work, coming back to your intuition, getting support where you need it, but really coming back to trusting yourself to make smart decisions. So that's all I really wanted to cover in this video. I just really wanted to explain a little bit about how I see this rewilding concept when it comes to your business. Just giving that example of marketing, but there are lots of other ways that you can do this when you approach your goal setting, when you look at your business model. You know, what are your offers? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? How do you price what you do? Let's cut away some of the complexity. Let's get it simple and let's get it done. Let's get it out there. Because if you're watching this video, then I suspect you have a message that you want to get out there, that you want to share. And I suspect you have a really good idea of the kind of clients you want to work with. So if this is all making sense to you, if you feel like a 60-minute conversation with me would be useful, then I really want you to go to the show notes. There's a link in there. It's jillmoakes.com/apply. And you can put in an application. We get back to you within 24 to 48 hours just to confirm whether you're a good fit for one of these breakthrough sessions. I have to do it on an application only basis because it's a full hour of business coaching. We can do a lot in an hour. Trust me. You can come up with some incredible insights within an hour. Make some good, smart decisions within an hour. Okay. I hope this has helped. Bye for now.